welcome to another episode of the Red Arrow Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Marco, with my co-host who also is coordinating with my cocktail tonight.
Jessica.
How's it going, Jessica?
It's going.
You definitely have the purplish pink going on.
I do. Yeah, I'm wearing pink, and you are drinking purple.
I mean, I don't know.
This is pink.
Really?
It's hot pink. It's a hot pink sweater.
Closer to fuchsia.
No.
But not like quite bright enough for fuchsia.
It's
like
pink.
a muted fuchsia. It's more like an electric purple.
It's hot pink.
That is not hot pink.
It is.
That's not screaming enough. Anyway, my drink is definitely more purple, maybe lavender. Definitely matches my hockey jerseys this season.
It does. Why is your drink so purple?
My drink is so purple because I basically made a gimlet, but I also put a little club soda in it. But I made it with Empress Gin.
Ooh.
We've been dying to try this stuff because
I'm so excited.
It's all over Instagram. It's the purple gin.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's not as herbaceous. It's not as floral as a lot of other gins. You actually get more of the citrus notes with it.
Mm-hmm. I think it tastes like oranges.
It plays well with anything with orange, grapefruit, lemon, lime, and we've just started experimenting with it. So I'm sure we'll get other things, and then maybe it will taste differently when I have my voice back.
That would be good.
This is going to be really a weird sounding one. We kept kind of putting off this one. It's like, well, my throat feels weird. Well, my voice is kind of weird. And then it's like, well, screw it. Let's just do it anyway. So, thankfully, this is also an episode where we're going to lean heavily on you anyway for subject matter. So that'll save my voice a little bit. Maybe I'll be able to speak tomorrow.
We'll see.
What are you drinking tonight, though? Yours is not purple.
No,
it's
not.
Pink.
It's brown. It's standard.
The brown liquor.
It's just a standard old-fashioned.
There's somebody on Twitter. So there's this Urban Meyer thing going on. Urban Meyer, coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, went and had a game in Cincinnati. Skipped the team flight after the loss. Team flies home. He goes out. Supposedly, in his apology, he went out with the grandkids because for many years he was coaching Ohio State, and I believe he's from Ohio, but he's also coached various other places, including Utah and the University of Florida. And video and photos surface of him at the bar. Apparently he a party wanted to have photos with him. It's like, well, that's not quite what the video backs up, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah.
So anyway, where this is going on this crazy tangent is, so I'm going through this stuff on Twitter because it's entertaining, and somebody said, I don't know what everyone was drinking, but it was probably brown liquor. That's a brown liquor move.
Okay. That is the weirdest tangent you have ever gone on, I think.
I don't feel good.
So my drink,
yeah,
it's just a
I'm
standard.
just going to sip my gimlet.
You do that. It's a standard old fashioned. I made it with Jim Beam. Woo! It's delicious.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You are extra icy, jiggly.
Clinkies.
Clinkies. There you go.
Gimlet.
All right. Before we get into our main topic tonight, what's new?
We went to homecoming last weekend.
Woohoo! Homecoming for a high school that we didn't attend.
That's correct. No. Homecoming for my arch rivals when I was in high school.
Did you ever go to any homecoming games when you were in high school?
Yeah, I did. I went to one.
Did you go to the homecoming dance afterwards?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't love football.
It's not about the football.
Well, okay. Social anxiety is real.
Yeah, it is.
And I had it.
I went to all of them. Either because I was in the band or I was on the football team or just because it was the social thing to do. I went to the dances. But I didn't go. I mean, I went to the high school that I was previously coaching at. We went to this one, though, because kid one wanted to go. She's in the band, middle school band. They're performing at the end of the season. So we wanted to see, how does a high school football game go at that high school?
Yeah.
I've actually never had not been to a game at their home stadium. I'd seen them play when they played their arch rival, your school, when I was in high school.
That's so funny.
Like my friends and I would go because they call it the War at the Shore because we're along the southwest coast of Lake Michigan.
Yes.
And we would go just go check it out. We had friends at the public high school, and we would go see them. They would play their arch rival, and it was a big deal.
Yep, it still is.
That's this weekend, by the way.
I know.
Yeah. We are not going.
Nope.
Anyway, but we hadn't been to one in that stadium. So we went, we checked it out, and it also, there's a big push to get the middle schoolers and have a good turnout there. So kid one wanted to go and be with her friends. And sit in they have a middle school student section, which is on the opposite end of the stadium from the high school student section, which there are some benefits to that. But she just wanted to go be a normal kid. And after a year plus of COVID now, I mean, she's a 7th grader. She's in her, in her second year of middle school. The kid has never had a middle school dance.
Yeah, that is really sad.
And part of me can go, oh, yeah, as a dad, my daughter doesn't have to go to dance and blah, blah, blah. I don't have to be worried. But at the same time, it's like, I want her to have those normal kid experiences.
Yeah.
And those aren't possible right now. Even speaking with, I play with guys who are teachers and administrators at various high schools around here, and like they've had the homecoming dances this year. Like I think last year they were out on the football field. This year they got to be inside, but then they're like, we didn't get into education to be going around policing masks. But they have to do it. That's just part of what life is at the moment.
Yep.
And it's very difficult to put on a dance. And like, it's not like the jokes about the Catholic schools, like, oh, make sure you've got like the right
room
spacing.
for the Lord.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Well, it's kind of that. Make sure you got enough room for the COVID to not get
6 feet apart, kids. 6 feet apart. No touching. Unless you have really long arms.
They're just doing their best. But like they said, that's not why they got into education. Anyway, so anything approximating a normal life. So it's a Friday night lights, high school football. The middle schoolers went down to their middle school section. They sat. They got to be social with their friends. They were outside, so they
ate junk food.
Yeah, they ate a ton of junk food. Basically, I gave her $20 and said, "Here, this is for your admission," and I made her go through the gate ahead of us. And it's for your food for the night. Just go.
Yep.
And then kid 3 came with us too, and like I went, and then we got in line behind them and paid for you, me, and him. And the other ones are like, kids are like, yeah, we don't want to go. So they went to your parents' house.
Yeah.
Pretty good game for the first half of the first quarter because the kids' school was blowing out the competition from Battle Creek, or as their jersey said, the Creek.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I think they should have been the Cornflakes. The Fightin' Rice Krispies.
The cornflakes. Watch out. Those flakes will get you.
Watch out. Shredded wheat. Here we come. Anyway.
We're going to crunch you to death.
It's October. They could break out Count Chocula or Frankenberry.
And they could be serial killers.
Blueberry. There you go. The serial killers. Though that's actually a good one. Anyway, they scored 3 touchdowns in the first half of the first quarter, and that was it for scoring for that team. The away team started getting some points at the end of the game that actually made it almost a game.
Yeah.
It took them long enough. Anyone who left at halftime, though, it was a blowout.
Yeah.
But, kid 3 loves it because he was there. Some of his friends were there. Some of his classmates were there. Plus, they shoot off fireworks every time they score.
That was really cool. And since they won, there was like a really big fireworks display.
At the end,
I didn't know it was going to be that big. Do you think it's always that big or just because of homecoming?
No, it's always a big, because we can hear it. We've stopped recording on Friday nights because when they play at home, because we can pick it up down in our recording studio, down in our basement of our house.
Yeah. Good point.
And we're quite a ways away. I know you made fun of them when we moved to town. We were like, those hillbillies, they shoot fireworks out of the cornfield for the football games.
I didn't call them hillbillies. I called them farmers.
Yeah. Well, okay, the cornfields have been pushed back, but now they have like mile upon mile of soccer fields and indoor field houses and baseball fields and softball fields and rocket football fields and more soccer fields and lacrosse fields behind the football field. So the fireworks are coming from somewhere in those athletic fields, no longer out of the cornfields. Yeah. So now they're sophisticated.
Okay. Well, anyway, they used to be cornfields.
Used to be. But that was homecoming, and we survived it. And now we've got a football game coming up that we got to go to and stay at least through half. Actually, probably for the whole thing, because they got to play the little songs in the lull, the mini lulls in football.
Are you talking about the football game that kid number 1 is going to be at?
Yes.
That one? Okay, just checking.
It doesn't have tons of lulls in it.
No.
Hockey.
Oh.
It's not like, here's the puck, take a shot, and then we're going to line up and do it again. Although sometimes it is.
How is the hockey?
The hockey's
All the hockey.
the kids are doing great. They're almost done with fall hockey. Winter hockey's starting pretty soon. We got one more week of fall hockey. And then adult hockey, I really, part of me was thinking, man, kid one's going to get her first win. My team is going to get our first win in beer league. Yeah, we lost 8-5.
That's not terrible.
It's not terrible. And she played great. She had some amazing saves. And even everybody on the team, we're trying to figure out what's wrong. And I'm like, well, I got my 12-year-old and that. They're like, what more could we ask from her? Like, when she got beat, it wasn't like, oh, she was out of position or she should have had it. Like, she didn't stand a chance. Like, she's down at one post, down in her butterfly, basically with her, if you don't know it, her knees and her ankles down on the ground, building a wall, and somebody takes a hop back and fires it to the far top corner.
Yeah, she can't reach it.
She can't reach it. And most goalies can't reach it, even if they're bigger. So if you look at the scores, you stack up all the scores, you still can't tell the difference between when she's in net and when I have my 6'4" substitute goalie in. But I did bring in the best scorer in the league. Well, actually, technically, my top scorer on my team is the best scorer in the league. But I brought in a guy who's also born in Finland, awesome scorer, to feed him, the two of them on the line. And they did set up for a lot of goals. But it wasn't enough because we lost 9-5.
Oh, well.
So, yeah.
It happens.
It happens. It's going. It was a big night, though, because I played 3 games that night.
That's a lot of hockey.
I played the early game. I took the second game off. My game was the third game, and then I played the fourth game, and then I went home because that's a lot of hockey.
It's a lot of hockey.
A lot of hockey on the ice, quite a bit. And then, but it also gets me ready for coaching and everything for winter hockey because it's going to be a lot of time on the ice. It'll be exciting.
That sounds cold.
No, it's a lot of sweat.
It's
a lot of stink. We can do
it does. No, we're not going to talk about that. Gross.
What should we talk about before we get into this episode?
Hey, you've been getting lots of messages from your former runners. So why don't we talk about life without cross country since we're not doing that this fall?
Yeah, it's funny. Life without cross country isn't really life without cross country because there's still a lot of cross country in our lives. Because like you said, I'm getting hit up a lot. Actually, I'm getting hit up a lot by the parents of the runners, not the runners directly. Mm-hmm. And, they're saying wonderful things about the new coach. And look, I know the new coach because he's really the old coach from the 80s. Mm-hmm. He coached my sisters. I went to school with his daughter. His quote unquote protege was my coach. So it was basically a continuation of the same program. It's the polar opposite of what I did.
Yeah.
Work to get them new warm-ups, new uniforms. They're not using the warm-ups I got them. They were the first new warm-ups in 25 years. The uniforms, they're wearing the uniforms I wore in high school about 25 years ago where the boys are. The girls are wearing ones that were falling apart. They're actually wearing boys' shorts, including some of them have the crotch completely blown out on them. So they're going to wear stuff underneath. Yeah, it's just a hot mess. They don't match. They look like, the uniforms look like garbage. The middle school, it's funny because this one woman who was on the booster group who threw a fit because the uniforms that the middle schoolers are wearing when her son was in middle school for track refused to let them wear them and had to run out and get uniforms that matched the varsity because I had secured enough money to get the varsity new uniforms because they were so thin they were almost transparent. But suddenly now that her kid's in high school, they're okay for the current group to go back to wearing what we call the circus tent ones that are fugly. And if you don't know what fugly means, it's a combination of ugly. But anyway, that's the uniforms aren't the reason. It's really that I've now heard from 3 families that the kids just aren't adjusting well. And it's not that the coach doesn't know what he's doing. He does. He's been doing this forever, from the 70s. But he's a very different style coach. And these are kids I recruited. Well, quote unquote recruited. These are kids who came in when I started the program. I started doing a lot of reach back all the way into elementary school. So they would come out and we would do these fun runs and everything. And then they came out and they ran for me 6th grade all the way into high school. And suddenly, I have a very different style. We're going to work hard, but we're going to have fun too. And it catered to a certain style of runner that is not your traditional runner where it's just, let's run for the sake of running and go faster. And, we don't need a map. We'll just go.
Okay, you need a map.
You need a map. I was teaching the kids how to read maps, how to look at satellite imagery. We were doing, actually, it was a nice skill because I was borrowing stuff from my work in intelligence. It's really geointelligence, geospatial intelligence, geoint. And so we would take hand-drawn maps, and then we lay it over in Google Earth, and we'd stretch it and take, something that looks like some coach did on a cocktail napkin. We take those landmarks, lay them out, we would map it out, and then we would start tracing out the actual lengths. What's the elevation change? Where do we want to do the passing? Where don't we? And so we did all sorts of analysis like that ahead of time. He's just going, you just got to feel the course kind of stuff. So not everybody's responding to that. It's catering. There are kids who are really responding to it well, and that's great. And they're the ones you'd expect to. But I feel bad because some of the kids that I, hadn't found their niche, and suddenly they found cross country, and they found the fun, and they found the joy in running, aren't finding the joy this season. And I feel bad because...
Well, it's not your fault.
No. Look, I mean, the team are called the Lakers. I could give two if the Lakers do well this year or not as a team. I really don't care because just how badly the school community treated us on the way out in that last season. I just felt like they were, treating not the runners or most of the runners' parents, but the broader community just felt like there was a license to treat our children like to treat us like even on the way out, treat us like so. But those kids that I recruited, that I trained, I'm always going to be pulling for those kids. And so I follow along online, and I chat back and forth with their parents. And if they ask for advice, I give it. But I want those kids to do well.
Yeah.
Now, the kids I didn't train that I don't know, I don't care. I mean, I hope you don't get hurt, and I hope you have fun and great. But it's the ones that I trained. I'm like, I still want you to improve. It's not like I want to go, well, I'm gone. I hope everything turns to garbage forever. It's like, great. If you guys win the conference, I don't care. I mean, individual. Now I'm back to like individual. Like I want person X, person Y, person Z to get personal records. But if your other two runners are taking like 45 minutes, I don't care. They're not my runner. It's just the ones I trained and I'm pulling for and I'm following along with, and I want the best for them. And I'm hearing like, some of the guys I worked with are really, it's just clicking, not just in the running, but in the leadership end. And it just gives me the warm fuzzies. Like, yes, these kids are going to succeed in life. And that's makes me happy, whether I'm there or not. And, some of the other kids are like, they haven't hit their PR yet, but they're on target to probably hit it this season. Okay, great. That's what I want for them.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's hard. And it's hard to hear that some of them aren't having fun. And so I'm trying to do what I can and pass encouraging notes to their parents and, but when asked. So I'm not trying to step on the new coach's toes. I mean, he can do his thing, but, some of them reach out for help in other directions. And I'm just one of those sources. Yep. Cool. So it's life without cross country is weird. It is.
It's weird.
I mean, it's not like I'm not up early on Saturday morning.
But you're also not stomping around in mud puddles.
No, I'm out on the ice.
Well, at least it's a solid puddle.
Got little kids swinging sticks at me and stuff. My elbows hurt, by the way, so bad. I had a little kid fall. We were setting up the mats, getting ready to play. And he wiped out, and I just took a quick step back, and I got my foot caught in a deep rut and caught the edge right in there, and I went down with both elbows on the ice. I wasn't wearing elbow pads because I was just out there coaching. Oh my God, they're still bruised.
Maybe now you'll wear your elbow pads when you're just coaching.
Maybe I will.
So that we don't have broken elbows.
Maybe. Or so I can sit and use armrests in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I did pop out for that one cross-country meet of theirs, but the rest of them, I'm looking at the schedule, like I'm on the ice every time they race. So
yeah,
I'll just follow along online, and hopefully they've got a big meet this weekend. Actually, they got a whole bunch. We're hit October. It's supposed to start getting cooler, and all the big meets are in October, or, well, in the case of the state finals, November.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But enough about that. Let's get into our main topic for the night, Jessica.
Okay, Marco.
This is supposed to be one that you speak a lot on, and I'm doing all the talking. Our main topic for tonight are, and really this episode is going to be called Adventures in Parenting, but we're really looking at lessons learned from parenting, and we're really kind of like the theme we were going for with this was thanks for the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love memories.
So it's all about capturing those memories, and we've got 5 tips for that, and that's our episode. So let's do some segue music, and we'll get into that. Jessica, ready for the memories of all our adventures in parenting?
Yes.
All right, let's get into this. Our top 5 lessons learned from parenting, all having to do with those memories and hanging on to those memories and all the adventures in parenting we've been through. Jessica, let's get right into it. What is number 1?
Save some of the art. Not all of the art. I have a couple of suggestions.
Especially when you have 4 kids.
Yeah, oh my God.
Like if you've got one and you're going, man, there's so many freaking art projects, multiply it by 4.
Yeah. We could totally have an entire room in our house just dedicated to piles of artwork from our kids if we kept everything.
Buy a plot of land and put a giant pole barn on it and make it an art gallery with all the stuff.
You'd need so many walls.
The American Picker guys would be loving it.
Right.
Oh,
no.
They're collectors. No, we're hoarders at that point.
You should keep their art because eventually they're going to grow up and then they're going to come back and be like, Mom, what kinds of things did I draw when I was in kindergarten? And it's really nice to be able to show them, hey, you used to draw pictures of cows, or you used to draw pictures of zombies because you're a weird kid. You used to draw pictures of princess. All of those things are really, really fun, and you're going to want to remember them.
But a sampling.
Right. Not every single cow picture that they've ever drawn. You don't need to keep them. A little cross-section of your favorite ones or ones that trigger specific memories that you want to be able to share with them when they're older are the ones that you want to keep.
The development. So you don't want them all from May of kindergarten. Here's something from Halloween. Here's something around Christmas time, or maybe here's a turkey hand in kindergarten, and then the Christmas project, and then maybe something around Valentine's Day. On the line, and then special things. And now, hell, we're definitely keeping the artwork that kid number 3 did last year, where he came home and they did this thing where they drew some art, and you got to buy differently on a mug or a tote bag or whatever.
Or a notebook or something
what did your parents bought it? They put it on
a coaster.
Coaster. Anyway, they were like, why did you draw a rat?
Yeah, he drew a white mouse. And I was like, dude, this is a really good drawing. I love it. I especially love the background you gave it. Why did you draw a white mouse? Because as far as I know, the child doesn't like mice. And he looked at me and he scrunched up his face and he goes, because, Mommy, the art teacher said we had to draw a picture of our pets. And I was like, oh no. And he goes, we don't have any pets. And I said, no, we don't. And he goes, and I was
4
like,
kids. We don't need
did
more kids
did your teacher just tell you to draw any animal that you could think of? And he goes, no, I sat and I thought about it because she said it had to be a pet. So I sat and I thought about it for a little bit. And then I thought, sometimes we have mice in our basement and that's kind of like having a pet because they're inside of our house. So I drew a mouse and I made it white. And I was like, oh my God. That is the funniest explanation I ever heard. Also, did you share this with your teacher? No. Good. Keep it that way.
But aside from the vermin and the fun stories, and a lot of these have fun stories, and every time we see that art from now on, it's going to bring back those memories. There's also just knowing where they were at. Kid number 2 for a long time was drawing cars and trucks. And now he does comic books and the Mario characters. And in between, there was the Angry Birds.
Yeah.
And you see the development in his coloring, but it's also what he's into.
Do you remember when he was in kindergarten and his teacher would give him... she would give everybody a coloring assignment, and she would say, kids, you're going to color this picture for the next 15 minutes, seat work at the tables. And he would take out his crayons and put the worksheet on his table, and he would pick one color, almost always blue, and he would put one dot of blue from the crayon.
Or one streak.
Yeah, or one line inside of the coloring page and say, okay, I did it. I colored. I'm done. Time to play with cars.
My favorite was his color by number Thanksgiving thing, and it was a very flamboyant turkey that was almost peacock-like, and with all the different numbers, and trying to teach the kids matching, find the numbers and put the colors in. He put, instead of coloring each section in like you're supposed to, and also showing that you could stay inside the lines, he stayed inside the lines, but it was one streak, and it matched perfectly. But it was a very minimalist turkey.
Yeah. No, he didn't love coloring for a really long. But the point is that we have these so that we can
see, and then we can see it like more color, and now, and then it was like, whoa, overkill, buddy.
Yeah, no, but we have them. We can share them with him when he's older and be like, we used to love that you did this. We thought it was great, and stuff like that. So, anyways, the big question is, where the heck do you keep all of this artwork? So you could be like my mom.
You mean you don't buy a plot of land and build an art gallery unto your kid?
No.
Oh, good, because we haven't done that either.
You could be like my mom and have one file inside of the file cabinet where you stick like four pieces of art.
You didn't even rank a drawer. You're just one file folder.
I am one file folder. There are like...
There's like 2 kids in your family.
Swear to God, there are like 4 pieces of art from when I was little in that file folder, and the rest are report cards.
Who cares about that?
My mother, apparently. So I don't recommend that because it's sad.
I mean, academics are important, but honestly, you got the diploma at the end and get your transcript and call it good.
We're talking about like 3rd grade report cards, Marco.
Is it like 2nd quarter report card?
Yeah, it's all of them.
Save the one at the end of the year. It has all the grades on it.
Gotta have all of them. Those are all in there, but there's only 4 pieces of art, and that's what makes it sad.
What's her name? Marie Kondo or whatever would have like a heart attack at your mom's house.
Maybe it brings her joy, in which case she would not have a heart attack. She'd be like, oh, it brings you joy. That's great. You get to keep it. No, she'd go... Nope, that's the rule.
Joy my get rid of this.
No, that is how Marie Kondo works. You have to hold it in your hand. Does it bring you joy? If it does, you get to keep it.
Send her in there with a film crew and watch her lose her ever-loving It'd be hilarious. Reality TV at its best.
That's not enough for me. So our very fabulous, wonderful, most favorite preschool teacher ever in the history of the world did this with kid number 2 and then with kid number 3 and kid number 4. And what she does is at the beginning of the preschool year, she sends home a white pizza box.
With new one, clean one, not like leftover.
It's a brand spanking new. Like
it doesn't have grease stains and cheese in it.
Hit them online. It's brand new, and it has your kid's name on it. And the idea is you can take all of their wonderful masterpieces that they make in the entire preschool year, and you can stick them inside the pizza box. And that way you can then, at the end of the year, you can figure out which ones you really love and keep them in that box. And then you can stack the box like in a closet or in a desk or wherever it is that you're going to be keeping these boxes. But the pizza box is large enough to hold very, very large pieces of art with minimal folding. So that's nice.
I like that at the beginning of the year. And because we've had her 3 times, she flat out tells the parents up front, you don't have to keep everything they do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, don't throw it out in front of their faces. But one, it's a place to put everything as you're going along. But then periodically through the year, just keep the ones that give you joy throughout the year. But then it's a nice, organized place and it fits well on a shelf. And you can, like you said, you can get them online. You can get them at craft stores like Michael's or whatever the other ones are. And you can actually, some even pizzerias, you can get them from them. Yeah.
The other idea that I have for keeping your kids' art, take a photograph of the art itself. Only keep the really, really special ones where you want that hard copy, but the rest photograph, and then have them printed and put in a photo album and just like title it Kid Number 1's art from this year. And then it's all together in a little tiny book, and she can flip through it and see, oh, look at all the really cool things I made. I love it.
And it takes up a lot less space.
Absolutely. It fits right on the bookshelf in with all the other photo albums, so that's nice. What's number 2, Marco?
Number 2 is an annual year in review. And this is really just a chance to sit down because it blows by so fast. And the nice thing is we've got 4 kids where we can kind of realize holy crap, time went by so fast for kid number 1. Well, at least we got some other ones, though. And we actually started this.
Do-overs.
There's a lot of ways of doing these. It's just kind of sitting down. And you notice, like, everybody else does it, like, every TV show or every channel. And it's almost like a filler for programming when everyone's on vacation for the television networks, where they do the year in review half hour or whatever, and it's usually like the C team off the news or radio station, like, we're going to sit here and play all the best songs of the year.
Yeah.
Kind of go back and take inventory of your year. What did you do? What was fun? What are the big memories? And write them down, whether it's in a journal or something. For us, I compile it actually into just a Word document, a digital file. But then from there, the top stories become part of our Christmas letter that we put out every year. And, like, I know Christmas brag letters get ripped on all the time, but we do something a little bit differently. We do the Tomasi Times, and it's in a newspaper format. You and I started this, what was it, 2008. We moved up to DC. It was kind of a big year for us because I had, in 2007, I had finished my doctorate. And 2008, we left Tallahassee. We moved up to DC. I started a new job. It was just all these transitions. And we're like, okay, we're going to send out a Christmas card. And we had done Christmas cards previously, but
they were just cards.
So we put out this little newspaper thing, and it had some goofy stories in it, and it was holiday themed stuff and a little facetiousness. Like the classified section, I think one year we did this, and it was all redacted.
Yeah.
And there's fun little stories like that. Or when Kid 1 was starting to play on the pots and pans, and it's like, oh, there's a musical prodigy,
Yeah, it's just silly.
It's silly, but it also helps us just kind of inventory what were the big events of the year and looking back. And then we print that, we send it out. But we can also go back, like I've got my raw files all backed up, but we've got these printed ones that we just put in a 12 by 12 album. I mean, they're on a normal size paper, but you flip through the pages, and in there is the Christmas card that we sent out that year. Mm-hmm. And then there's this letter, and it's now gotten to be 2-sided because we got, so many things going on with so many
There's 6
kids.
people in this house.
6 people in this house.
We all do interesting things.
And then the ones who don't make it, there's always the real estate section. It's like, well, real estate, demand for real estate is tough in the Tomasi Times. So here's all the things that didn't make it. And it's like just pretty much the subjects. And that for us, that jogs our memory. So while people love the Christmas letter that goes out every year and they find it humorous and it's a break from all the other ones that go out because we kind of do a goofy take on it. Mm-hmm. For us, when we go back and look at them, just the headlines alone jog memories of those stories, those events, and we've got pictures in it and everything.
Yeah, and it's nice for the kids because they like to look at pictures, so they can flip through this book and they can see all of the pictures of our family through the years and see, oh, that's when kid number 3 showed up. That's when kid number 4 showed up in our pictures. Yay! And the ones that are old enough to read can actually sit there and read those letters because odds are a couple of them came out before they could read, so they didn't know what was going on.
Well, and there's ones where I ask them questions, and it's funny because I'll either record or quickly jot down the answers, but I'll ask them all at once, mm-hmm. and then I'll write it that way. Mm-hmm. Whereas the questions and then the shotgun answers coming from really all directions and just spraying out at me. And somehow I've been able to get that effect into the writing. And so people are like, holy crap, we really do feel like we're in a room with your kids and they're all spurting out answers all at once. But you can also make out like their ages. Like I went back and looked at some previous ones we did, not just 2020 where we were asking about, COVID questions. Mm-hmm. We've done other topics too. And, kid 4 has got the tiny, 1 and 2 word answers like pancakes, whatever the question was.
Yeah.
And so you can tell, even when I don't identify this kid said this kid said that, you can tell. You and I can still tell. Mm-hmm. And other people reading it who know our kids.
Sikorsky.
Yeah, that's kid 1, that's kid 2, that's kid 3, and that's kid 4. And sometimes the boys, it's hard to tell who answered what. And sometimes even kid 1 and kid 2, it's hard to tell who answered what. But you can definitely tell the difference between kid 1 and kid 4. Mm-hmm. But it also showcases to us, looking back, the range in ages. and the kind of answers and what the chaos in the house was like that year.
Yes. All good.
But if you don't want to do a newspaper newsletter or email it out to people, that's fine. But in some form, record, hey, what were the good things, the bad things, the momentous things, the celebration things for this year?
Yep.
And I think the simplest form really is just get a journal, go to the store, get a journal and just jot it down. Mm-hmm. And that way you have those things to look back, the good, the bad, the ugly, so to speak, of the year.
Yeah, honestly, write down the ugly too, because sometimes it turns out really funny later on. And also, life is not all sunshine and roses, and it's good to record the bad and how your family reacted to the bad things that happened. So.
Sometimes how you reacted to the bad things is a good thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, another way of recording the year segues nicely into number 3, Jessica, because while I write the newsletter using mainly photos you've taken, mm-hmm. you do something that's very personal to our family that we don't publish. We just keep at home.
Yeah.
But that, those are those photo yearbooks. But the part of that is number 3. And number 3 is what, Jess?
Print the photos. Save the photos. Get them off your phone. Get them off your digital cameras. Print them. We've got Shutterfly. We've got Snapfish. We've got
Walgreens, Myers, everything else. I mean, Costco.
We've got persnickety prints. We've got all kinds of things, all kinds of options to print the photos. So get it done. Get hard copies of them, because you never know when your phone is going to crash or when your hard drive is going to crash. I cannot even begin to tell you how many hard drives I have gone through, external hard drives.
Well, and people will say, oh, there's the cloud, until you lose access to your cloud account.
Exactly.
Or something goes wrong, or the credit card was uploaded that was paying it for the extra space.
It
expired, and the email account you had attached to it is one you're not using anymore, so you weren't getting the alerts.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong. So while it is good to back it up on an external hard drive or back it up to the cloud, also print it.
Print the photos.
Not every single photo, because then we've all become like...
We are photo hoarders.
Well, and super snappers. And we'll take 20, hoping to get that one good shot. Mm-hmm. Save the one good shot. Print the one good shot.
Yep. So I love photo albums. I think they're the greatest. So I try and make a point every so often to order actual 4x6 photos. And the kids love it because they can flip through them and be like, oh, look at how cute I am. Oh, this is when we went to the pumpkin patch. Oh.
The younger ones are like, where me?
Where me?
Where
Always.
am I at?
Where me? Mm-hmm.
I'm not born yet.
Where me?
Not even
that's not even
yet.
a good enough answer. It's just, well, I should be here anyways. I don't care if I wasn't born. Where me?
Your sister's a toddler. Kid 1's a toddler. Of course, kid 4's not there yet.
No, not even a thought. The other thing that we do, so a long, long time ago, I started, I was a scrapbooker. And for a long time, I would do one photo per page, maybe 2 photos per page.
And this is when scrapbooking really took off.
Yeah, this was the 90s.
We would go to the I'd go to the scrapbooking
in
store
the early 2000s.
And you had all the different crazy papers and
the stickers,
embellishments, the stickers,
all of it,
all the different hole punches and scissors, and it was the very hands-on, crafty scrapbooking.
Oh. And it was a big mess. And it took up a lot of space. And then we had kids, and I was like, I don't have room for all of this paper. So I found digital scrapbooking, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. But then I realized it's taking me forever to make these 1 to 2 photos per page scrapbook things. I can't get everything. And then somebody came out with the idea to do a Project Life or Project 365. And both of them work the same way. The idea of it is you take 1 photo a day, and then at the end of the year, you compile them into an album. And that way you can display and write little stories about the 1 photo that you took each day. So I do that every year. I've expanded mine. I take way more than 1 photo per day, especially if we go on vacations. Vacations are special. They get multiple pages in the scrapbook, not just 1 photo per day, because I need the photos. But these are like my cell phone pictures. These are sweet ones of like kid number 3 picking me a flower in the yard, like a weed. It's really, really nice. Or we went to one of the local breweries and it was sushi night. And there it is. It's right there, and it looks wonderfully delicious.
You have a picture of kid number 4 and kid number 3 wrestling next to a pile of folded towels in the middle of the living room. You know, like laundry laying in the living room, be like normal life.
Because that's what life looked like.
Yeah.
This is from 2018, and that's, we had all these tiny little humans running around, and kid number...
We still have tiny humans running around.
I know, but she's a little bit bigger now, and so is he. It was Beverly Cleary's birthday that week, and I had taken all of my books that I still have and taken a picture of them.
Why does kid number 3 look so angry in that other picture?
Let's see here. He was super ticked off that we were all piled into his bed reading the latest edition of the Bad Guys book before bedtime. He did not want us all in his bed. All he had to do was ask for us to get out. Just nicely say, hey, can you get out of my bed, please? And instead, he decided to throw the biggest, hairiest little temper tantrum. And it was hilarious. So I snapped a photo of it. And I thought it was so funny that I put it in this book. And I wrote a little thing right on the photo about it.
Photos have little captions and little comments with them.
Yep.
And then every so often it says like week 15 or it has dates with it as just little tags. Oh, it's a Flat Stanley.
Flat Stanley.
Kid number 2's Flat Stanley's there. You haven't even flipped the page. We're just like one page.
No,
how many pictures do you have per page?
I don't know. It varies.
I know it varies, but like with just the page you're open to right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 on this page, and there's probably like 12 on that page. Okay. Or maybe another 10.
So you're getting a lot of memories crammed into in terms of conserving space.
Yeah.
It saves a lot.
Absolutely.
It makes it easy to flip through. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty, like it also gets back to, people always talk about if there's a fire, what would you grab as you run from your house? Okay, you're not going to grab all the photo albums we have because that's multiple trips. But you could get all of the yearbooks you've created.
Yeah, I could.
And that's like that sums up our entire year.
Yeah. Like this is everything that happened this entire year. Well, and look, there's cross country.
That's track.
Okay, well, whatever.
He's holding a baton.
This is in May, so yeah, it's track. Here's kid number 1 in Girl Scouts. Kid number 3 grew grass, hair.
I think that's a present for you for Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
Kid number 4 playing piano with my dad. Me hanging out at O'Brien's at Compton for
Here
hockey.
is a picture that kid number 1 drew of me, and I guess her, but with yellow hair. I don't know. She drew it for Mother's Day at school.
I'm looking at so a teeny tiny kid number 4 and kid number 3 looking like a giant next to her.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. And the two of them are sitting there together picking bouquets of dandelions, and he's holding them for her because he's got bigger hands.
Yep.
Being, the sweet big brother.
Right. You decided to start your kayak training, and this was the first one that you did, and that's the path that you took from the screenshot of your app on your phone. So it's tiny little memories that make up the story.
Wait, go back. They're all on the couch watching a movie. What are they watching?
They're watching Star Wars.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah. So
in terms of, like, they aren't amazing family portraits we've paid a fortune for. Like you said, there's stuff. Oh, my God. There's one of kid number 3 on the bottom bunk, half out of bed. Like, he's asleep, but he's laying perpendicular in his bed. And his legs are hanging out, and his tummy's hanging out, cracking me up. But then right across from it is kid number 2 and I, and, like, I'm teaching him how to fish. And so, I'm hanging onto his hands and teaching him how to cast and reel it in.
Kid number 2 and the baby chicks that they hatched in their classroom.
Yep.
There's a whole lot of stories that go along with that.
Field trips,
preschool graduations.
So this is when kid number 3 was in the class with the teacher that kid number 4 has right now.
Yep.
He's so tiny.
He was so tiny.
Yeah. All right. I think people get the point, though.
Okay. It's nice to look through the book.
It is nice. Like, we could get lost in this, but they also can't see it right now.
That's true.
Something else you do, though, is every year you do the same sort of digital scrapbooking, and you get templates and everything, and you make a calendar. And what do you use? Like Shutterfly, but one of those services.
I use Shutterfly
to make a calendar You do that. I do the bottom piece and fill in the dates on it for keeping everything organized because I'm a nerd like that. And so I put in all like, hockey and my coaching dates and important work dates and school dates, but also birthdays, anniversaries. And then I put the goofy holidays like National Gumbo Day.
National Whiskey Day.
There's National Whiskey Day, International Whiskey Day, International
Whiskey.
Bourbon Day, Wine Day, Drink Wine Day, which is different than Wine Day. International, No Bra Day, which is funny to put on there.
Okay.
Which I think that one, it's No Bra Day or No Pants Day coincides with your mom's birthday.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Then you're always like, my mother's going to come over and look at our calendar to see if my birthday's on there or her birthday's on here and see that. I'm like, yeah, but it's funny.
It is. Sometimes I will take pictures of the calendar and stick them in the yearbook because, like, the month of October is usually a very busy month for us, and it's packed, and I want to remember that it's packed.
A lot of times you'll save those calendar pieces too because then it becomes a scrapbook page unto itself. And the nice thing is once you create it, you can quickly not only print ours, but then send it off and print a copy for your mom, which we take out some of the holidays. Obviously, No Pants Day does not go in, or No Bra Day does not go into the copy going to my mother-in-law.
Nope. Definitely not. She would not think it was funny.
No, she wouldn't. But it's hilarious.
What the hell is this, Marco?
Honestly, some of the food ones, though, do influence, like, what was it, just last Monday? It was National Eat Tacos Day on a Monday, which is, what the going on with that? But we had tacos on Monday, and sometimes there's, like, when we get to National Gumbo Day, we'll probably have gumbo on the day. It helps figure out meal planning. Mm-hmm. So, yay. That's number 3. I know. Let's recap.
So, yay.
Number 1 was save some of the art, but not all of it. And also that included the pizza box idea. Number 2 was the annual year in review, whether that's in a journal or some crazy Tomasi Times, a newsletter like we do, or something, but jot that down just to kind of take inventory of what did you do? What did you experience that year? Number 3 is to print the photos, get a hard copy. And then that kind of also piggybacked on the family yearbooks, which also helps with number 2, the year in review, but the family calendar and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's leading us up to number 4 on our list of 5. Jessica?
Record video.
Why?
Because you want to get those little tiny squeaky voices on film or on digital, whatever the hell film is called.
So this you can't print.
You can't. But you can upload it to your own personal site on YouTube. And odds are that's not going away anytime soon. Or you can burn it to a disc or something. I don't know. Is that still a thing? Probably not.
I mean, you can have social media accounts for it.
I don't recommend that because you'll get hacked. And then you'll lose everything like I did. And it's very upsetting even now.
It's nice to have just, there's some classics that we look forward to every year.
What are we doing? And what do we need to do?
We need to get some screws. You have to. Screws.
Screws? What else do we need to do?
This. We need to get some pieces.
Where are we going to get them from?
Over there.
Okay. And what are we building?
Car house.
Okay.
Oh my God. I
So
love that video so much.
That is a 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old kid number 1.
Yeah.
And kid number 2 was 1, almost 2. They were skipping nap. You were pregnant with kid number 3. So they were down in the basement helping me build cornhole.
Cornhole.
But, just listen to those squeaky little voices.
What do state fans say? Something like that.
That's what they say this year because we suck.
It's not good.
No, we suck again.
Seminoles say. Yeah, baby.
I mean, she hosts podcasts now for us, and that's what she used to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
That was kid number 2 at his first Caps game, and he doesn't sound like that anymore. Mm-mm. And then kid 3, at the start of every track and cross-country season, I always had him do the same message.
Go and kids go.
He's so squishy.
He's so squishy. He's standing in the back of my truck, my SUV.
So itsy bitsy and squishy.
Go Lakers, go!
I have so many of the Go Lakers Go ones.
Go Lakers, go!
He does not sound like that anymore.
Go Lakers, go!
Like as I go through him, he sounds like he's aging before our ears.
Go Lakers, go!
I do have a video of kid number 4. We were still in the hospital with her when she was born, and it's of her crying, and it is the cutest little itsy bitsy baby cry ever. It's adorable.
It was at the pediatrician's office. Well, we've got the lovely cold going through the family, so they've had to go because it's COVID and they needed notes to get back to school. Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't have COVID, but tis the year part 2 of COVID.
I mean, but the symptoms of COVID are the same as symptoms of cold.
Right.
So
But I don't want to be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Or misspeak. They got a cold, which I'm sure I now have too. But to get back into school, they needed doctor's notes. So we went and got doctor's notes. And so the doctor was talking about like kids growing up, because he was my pediatrician too, way back forever ago. And just making sure like he's like, I took so many photos and we rarely look at them, which I'm thinking, well, you haven't been to my house because we look at them. But getting the videos and, making sure you get those squeaky voices and everything. And as they grow, I still remember we were when your grandma passed away, we were at your aunt's house and they busted out the old videos. And all of a sudden this blonde in like the little spandex shorts and an oversized t-shirt comes in the room and it's like, y'all something or other after that. And it's like, holy crap, that thick southern drawl out of that little Georgia girl who's from New Orleans.
it's me.
Yeah. It is so you. So
I know.
you.
The video made a big impression on you.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Enough about squeaky voices. What's number 5?
Number 5 is, well, it's actually related to squeaky voices. And so while number 5 is all about recording video just to get the sound, and back when they have those squeaky little voices say the darndest things. So while you won't catch all that on video, you do need to record when they make those quotable quotes. And you've got like a little log, a little journal. You write these things down in, and it's not kids say the darndest things.
No,
My Quotable Kid.
My Quotable Kid from Chronicle Books. It's red. And it is a journal of unforgettable quotes. And the idea is you write down the funny things that your kids say so that you can flip through it and laugh your butt off when you do. I like to write them in no particular order. I like to just flip to whatever page that it'll fit on.
Do you record the date or anything
I do.
of the year?
Yeah. So like this first one is from kid number 2 from June 2014. He was 3.5 and we were at our house in Falls Church. And he said, "Mommy, I don't want you to suck up my butt with the vacuum." Said as I was cleaning one of the sofas in the living room.
I
This
too
one-
don't want you to suck up my butt with the vacuum.
This one is from kid number 1 from March of 2013 at 9:41 p.m. She was 3. And this says, "Daddy," so you said this to her. Kid number 1, "You need to go to sleep." Kid number 2 is fast asleep. And she said, "Yeah, I need to slow asleep." Which is what she is still doing even to this day. She slow asleeps. Oh, here we go. I'll quiz you next one. But this one is something that kid number 4 said. She said it at our house in 2021 on kid number 1's birthday. She was 4.5. She said she was watching kid number 1 open her gifts on her birthday, and kid number 1 got to the present from her grandparents and said, "Oh, this one is from Birdie and Pop-Up." And she perked up and she said, "Birdie and Pop-Up? I know, it's whiskey." We all had a good laugh, and they assured kid number 4 that it wasn't whiskey in the package. It was earrings, bracelets, and books, by the way. But yeah, let's see. Can you tell me who said this one? Are you ready?
Yeah, go.
Guys, James Bond is the bestest movie I've ever seen.
Was that kid number 2?
No.
Kid number 3?
Nope.
Kid number 1?
Wow. Kid number 1, she was 3 3/4. She said it a few hours after we watched Skyfall.
Okay.
We're parents of the year, by the way.
Yeah. Give me another one. That was tough because they all like James Bond.
This kid said, after examining my new emerald earrings, said, "You got screws. You got green screws in ears."
That is kid number 2.
Yep, it sure is.
He grabbed your face
Forcefully.
and yanked your head. Like I thought he was going to snap your neck like some sort of commando movie, and just examining your ears. Mm-hmm. And he was you were sitting on the couch and he was standing there, which put him at eye level with your ears.
Yep. This one I drew a picture of somebody's face to show their reaction. I'm going to read it to you and then I'll show you the picture so that you'll see.
Okay.
This is from kid number 2 in 2019, and he said it in church.
Oh, Jesus.
So, father was asking all the kids what they thought of the wine because they were practicing for First Communion.
I already know, but okay.
And kid number 2 raised his hand, and when the father called on him, he said, "I think the wine tasted like blood and was a little bit sour." And father made this face, which is exactly what he looks like.
Oh my God, you drew the hair in and the bald head. Yeah.
And
with just the little tufts on the side.
I laughed and laughed. And then he also, later that day, kid number 2 also told me it tasted a little bit sweet and sour and maybe a lot awful when we got in the car to go home.
Well, you answered it, but yeah, it's kid number 2.
Who said this? Every time he puts his jock and cup on, he runs around the living room and yells, "Rockstar pee-pee! Rockstar pee-pee!" while punching himself repeatedly in the crotch.
That was kid 3.
I be in Farmer.
That was kid number 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, Farmer was him wearing a yellow hard hat, yellow Mardi Gras beads, and kid number 1's white dress shoes. All while wielding a yellow play kitchen knife. I don't know how that translates into being a farmer, but it was funny as hell.
Because it's easier to say than serial killer.
Mm-hmm. This one's very sweet. Kid number 3 said this one. He said, "Daddy, do you get scared sometimes?" No, I'm sorry. Kid number 2 said that. He said, "Daddy, do you get scared sometimes?" And you said sometimes. And then kid number 3 said, "The onlyest way to get unscared is by giving hugs."
Aww.
Yeah. So sometimes I write down things that are not funny, but are extremely sweet. You said, "Who likes listening to the blues in the car in the morning?" Kid number 1 said me. Kid number 2 said me. Kid number 3, "I like listening to the yellows in the car in the morning."
All right, give us one more.
This one. Who said this? After attempting to go to church for the 3rd time Easter Sunday.
Oh, jeez. That was the year we got attacked by a duck.
This kid piped up from
not meant to be.
From the back seat of the car and said, "Jesus said no to doing church."
That sounds like kid 2.
It is kid 2.
Okay. Well, on that note... Oh my, that's a different one to transition out of.
Sorry.
What are we supposed to say?
I don't
Jesus says
know.
go listen to more of our podcast episodes? I don't
so.
know.
Jesus said yes to doing podcasts.
I don't know about Jesus. Jesus might have, but anyway. Let's wrap this one up.
Okay.
We could get lost in memory lane forever, but this has been another episode of the Red Arrow Health and Wellness Podcast. This was episode 84, Adventures in Parenting, and focusing on that things for the memories. We're really rolling down memory lane and capturing all those memories and really hanging on to those because as parents, it goes by fast. It's already flying by fast. What did you find over there?
He has a mustache on his face. A mustache.
Or the mustachers. We put out episodes almost every Monday. Almost every week. They drop on Mondays. Like I said, this was episode 84. Go back. We got 83 other ones to listen to. We'll be back with another one next week. But for now, Jessica, I have like almost no voice, and I am all out of my gimlet.
And I'm all out of my old fashioned. Life is so hard right now.
I know, and it's getting late. So it's been fun.
Loads of fun.
Bye.
Bye.